Hi, this is Ernie. I'm that guy who had $6 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. Exciting news in the IPO market. So Klarna, for those who are not familiar with them, but I'm assuming everybody's familiar. It's buy now, pay later platform that is on pretty much every single website you go to. So anything you buy says, do you want to use Klarna to make 4 equal payments, so that your financial burden to make a purchase is actually lower. And that company is going public, and it is available through SoFi as well as Robinhood if you are a small investor. So I want to go through how you find out if this company is worth it before you go and submit your interest. So let me show you how that can be done. Go to Google, type in Klarna IPO S1, and it will take you to the official filing for their IPO. As you will see, there's a Klarna group. It's purple because I just visited their website not too long ago. And this is the form that has everything you need to know about their IPO. And of course, you need to talk to your friends, your family members, maybe even somebody who has a store or e-commerce, so that you'll be able to find out whether this is actually helping both customers as well as vendors do better when it comes to running a business or managing their money. I think recently there was a video or podcast from Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk criticizing Klarna. But so you should definitely look at it. It's less about politics, more about the problem or more about the challenges. So it's definitely worth looking at. And this is the podcast, how they trap 60% of Gen Z using things like here, Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay. And I think some of the regulators are potentially looking into what they are doing. So this is one of the risks that you should be aware of before you submit your interest for IPO participation. So let's look at the form. They have a lot of information. As you can see here, shop now, pay in 30 days for H&M members with Klarna. The way they make money is a lot of people forget to pay. So they charge you $7.50. In some cases, they give you a loan, and you could charge as high as 34%. That's ridiculous. And knowing that this is taking money away from credit card, I'm sure credit card companies will eventually do something to compete, but we don't know yet. And I haven't heard much about it. So that's why they're doing incredibly well. And I think Affirm recently just popped like 14 or 15% because their earning was amazing. But this is exactly what they're doing. They will help you acquire, retain them, and keep building their relationship. And look at the amount of revenue that they're getting. $2.8 billion in revenue. But profit, yeah, unlike on lots of other companies, they're actually profitable. 93 million active customers, more than 500,000 merchants, and it's covering a lot of markets. Look, just North America, Canada, covering Mexico, Western Europe, and then Australia. And it's just a matter of time they start expanding into other areas. And look at the network growth. You know, it was founded 2005, reached 1 billion, 6 billion in another 5 years. 5 years after that, 53 billion. So there's a GMV, gross merchandise volume, amount of volume that they processed. And for some odd reason, this section, table of content, did not have the financial statement. So you need to go to this index of consolidated financial statement. And then it tells you, hey, there's a consolidated statement for profit and loss. So let's look at the total revenue and how well they are doing. So in 2022, their revenue was about $1.9 billion. Now that has gone to 2.2 billion. So grew maybe 15% or so. And then from there to here, they grew a lot. They grew about 30%. And from loss of $1 billion to loss of $244 million, and now loss of, or actually profit of 21. So this company, I think, is going to get a lot of traction from both investors who have a lot of money as well as retail investors. If you compare this to Affirm generated about $3.2 billion as a whole year. That's not too far from 2024 of Klarna, and they had a decent amount of profit, right? So about $69.2 million in profit in 2025, August, their fourth quarter. So I think Affirm might be having a little more profitability than Klarna, but I think they're not too far behind. And if we see a similar growth from Klarna, I think Klarna might actually be bigger than Affirm. And Affirm is trading at $82.30. And I think Klarna, of course, you're comparing oranges to apples. We need to look at how many shares are outstanding. But Klarna, I think their IPO price is around $36 or $37. So I think there's a good chance that this might actually pop. On top of that, Affirm market cap is about $23 billion. Klarna's market cap at the current IPO price, is going to be $14 billion. So you can actually do simple math and say, oh, since they're going to be somewhat similar in size, the valuation, or if they are similar in valuation, similar size, similar revenue, this could mean that there might be a 70 to 80% pop if they are valued somewhat equally, doing pretty much the same thing. Hence, I'm going to sign up. And let me show you how you can sign up. If you go to SoFi, there's IPO investing. So you click on IPO. It's going to show that there are 2 Klarna and Gemini IPOs available. And I already submitted my interest. And all you have to do is go to the right-hand side and start now. And there's a form that you need to, like things like I don't have family members working for certain companies or government or entities. And then you gotta read the prospectus, which is what you just read. And then then you tell them, hey, this is how many shares I wanna buy. And then you submit your order and wait until they go public. And they're gonna let you know how many shares you're gonna get. Or you go to Robinhood and it's the same thing. There's Klarna, for some reason their logo is not loading. And then when you click, it's gonna ask you, hey, there's eligibility, are you interested? And on the right hand side, you said, I'm interested. You fill out a little bit of forms and then you sign up for the same thing. With SoFi, you don't have to have that money immediately. So you could wait a little bit, sell some of your shares or deposit money. Here, if you want at Robinhood, if you want to submit interest, you have to show that you have cash. Although the IPO is not going to happen for at least a couple of days. So it's not as user-friendly, which is why I always recommend SoFi, but it's up to you. But if you end up wanting to sign up for IPO on SoFi and you don't have that account, please go to my link. There is a link for SoFi account, and if you use that, they'll give you free $25. So start with free $25 rather than Robinhood that doesn't really give you anything. I know you're gonna have a lot of questions about this, and I know there are 2 other IPOs out there. I will go through them. I haven't had a chance to, but if you send me questions or comment with a question, I'll respond to you within 24 hours. And don't forget to follow, like, and repost, and especially if you want to learn more about investing. Thanks for watching. Bye.